Welcome, everyone. On behalf of the Seattle Asian American Film Festival, I'd just like to welcome some of the filmmakers from our SAAFF Storytime program. So welcome to all of you. Thank you so much for making the time and for joining us for this conversation. Yeah. So just to start, we can do some introductions. If you can tell us your name, the film you worked on, and just where you're joining from. And as I give everyone a moment to think, I will just say, my name is Yaoyao. I'm the volunteer manager at SAAFF. And would anyone like to go first?
I'll go first.
Thanks, David.
Yeah, my name is David Chai. I did a film called Colors You May Know, and I'm from San Jose, California.
Awesome.
I'll go next. My name is Sienna Kwan. My film that I directed is Lemons, and I'm also from San Jose, California.
Oh, wow.
And hi, my name is Sophia. I directed PUA Warriors, and I'm in Kailua Kona, Hawaii.
Awesome.
Go next. My name is Gavin. I directed the Pakala Kids, and I'm from Oahu, Hawaii.
And hi, my name is Jennifer. I directed The Best Gift, and I'm from Canada, Toronto, Canada.
Wow, wonderful. Well, thank you again so much for all taking the time to be here. I have just some questions that, would certainly appreciate if everyone would be able to share, but also feel free to sit some out or, to jump in with questions of your own too, if they're coming up. So the first is just, and feel free to jump in, really thinking about what inspired you to make your film.
You want to go first, Gavin? I was curious about this too for yours.
Yeah, sure. So my film was largely inspired by my childhood summers where I would go to Kauai and stay in Pakala Village because my family was from there. And it was just like this really small, really like not dirty, but like dusty, like it's dirt roads, kind of plantation town. And there was like no Wi-Fi, things like that. So really all you could do as a kid was just like, I would go around with my cousin and explore, and like there would be just like creepy sheds or the beach or anywhere to kind of let our imaginations go wild. So I really wanted to capture like that feeling of being a kid in that town. I might have a few more things to say about that, but that's mostly like where the core inspiration came from.
Yeah. Will people watching this have already watched the films, or will they?
Yes, they will have. Yes.
Gavin, was the end? What was the end of your film based on personal experience?
Not necessarily. I well, kind of, but not exactly. So in a lot of my films, I made a film a few years before Pakala Kids called Down the Red Dirt Road that kind of explored that same area and themes of like moving on, because my family no longer lives there. So it's kind of like this place that means a lot to me that I can't really go back to. We visit sometimes because we still know people in the area, but it's kind of like just we don't want to bother people there, so we don't go there too much. So mainly this film too is also kind of exploring that same idea of moving on, with literally Lonnie moving away, and also tying in like kind of the impermanence of childhood friendships as well, because I feel like we all have like that friend who you're really close to, and then one day, like for one reason or another, you guys just never spoke again or saw each other again. And it's kind of sad, but also like, I don't know, kind of bittersweet, just because you still have those memories with you. I really wanted to capture those feelings as well.
I think you did. It was a good ending.
Thank you.
Sophia, you want to go next? Keep the Hawaii energy going.
All right. Okay. So Pool Warriors is kind of inspired by my hometown, which is the setting of the film, Kailua Kona, right? And the different types of people that I know here, I kind of formed into the main characters. So that was like this inspiration for the setting and the characters. And then I've also had a lot of inspiration from Maho Shoujo, like that anime genre, like magical girls, as well as some Western cartoons like Steven Universe, just that idea of like friendship and magic, and combining that to where I live was the main inspiration for the film. And that sort of brought in the Hawaiian flowers idea as well, because I was trying to figure out, okay, where do they get their powers from? It can't just be like they get it for no reason. So I was thinking about that. I was like, oh, well, in Hawaiian, like in our culture here, like people wear flowers on their ears all the time. That's like so common, and like hula dancing and all that. So it's like that sort of brought out the ideas of using flowers. And then that idea of, well, is using endangered flowers for the film, which somehow that became really pinnacle, you know, pool warriors, flower warriors. So yeah, that's to summarize is the inspiration.
Cute. And would each episode have the segment? What's that PUA?
Oh yes, if I do continue making more short films or episodes, that would be the goal, like to have that commercial break in the middle of this really short episode.
That was cute too.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely loving all those references in your film. Would anyone else like to kind of share some sources of inspiration behind their projects?
I can share the source of inspiration behind Lemons. So I think it was back in the winter of 2020, and as we've all experienced COVID, and I've been away from my friends, and I was thinking about, oh, I haven't talked to a lot of industry people, and then I was thinking, oh, was college the right choice? And I had taken a gap year before I had come to college, which I already had this notion of like, there's no set path in life. You could really do whatever and things will fall in line. But I was thinking along the lines of how society views that. And when I took a gap year, which was like 5 years ago, it was kind of like looked down upon, like you shouldn't take a gap year, go straight into college. You have to just do school, college, and then job, and that's all you do. And that's kind of like, I guess what I learned, or what I had been feeling was the pinnacle of perfect, was that you would follow all these set guidelines and you'd make it somehow. Like just following it, you'd end up in where you were supposed to be. But living life, I've learned that is definitely not the case. But I was struggling internally with the idea of like, what is my idea of like the perfect ending for me, or the perfect path for me, versus what the world might deem socially as the perfect path for everybody. And going through that conflict, I just wanted to create something really short to remind people that there's nothing that defines perfection. And be it whatever perfection, I wanted to leave it open-ended, be it whatever perfection they're struggling with and trying to identify with. Like, your perfection is what you define it to be, and is what your path is and who you are, versus what people are telling you it is, or how you're feeling the world is projecting perfection to be. And that's where Lemons comes from.
Nice.
That's super sweet. I I thought you were going to say like you planted your own lemon tree, but like I'm
No.
I think like when I watched your film, I was like really touched like with the ending because I guess I wasn't really expecting it. But yeah, that was like so cute that like there's
Thank
like
you.
about the author. And it's like, you know what? When life throws you lemons, like it's okay if they're weird shaped.
Yeah, they're weird
Lemons.
shaped, they're kind of ugly, but you know, it's yours and you made it. It's great.
What was yours, Jennifer? Yours was really cute too.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so my film, The Best Gift, was inspired, kind of like, oh, it was more like, I had to make a film for a course, and we only had 3 weeks, so I had to like kind of start thinking of like ideas, as many ideas. So I guess when I tackled this film, which was my last film for this course, I thought about like, okay, like I have some experience making the first couple of films. For this one, I want to try something more background heavy. So I was really inspired at the time by Ellie Oli Art on their social media. It's Elena and Olivia Ceballos, I believe that's their names. And then, yeah, I was really inspired by their paintings. And I was like, wow, I want to do something like very scenic like that. And I guess the story was actually inspired by my relationship with my boyfriend because he lives on the other side of the country. So we don't get to see each other very often, especially during the pandemic. So guess I was just daydreaming about like, oh, one day, like, I wish we could like travel to see each other. And then I thought about like all the things that you would want to do for this person you love. And sometimes it doesn't always turn out the way it wants to. So yeah, that's kind of like the story, like, you know, like you getting home safely is like the best gift. Yeah.
Cute.
Thank you.
And
And then David, I think you're the last person who hasn't gone yet.
yeah, I had been working, like Sienna said, I'd been working over the pandemic on a different film. But then towards the end of 2020 and then early 21, I was just all the terrible stuff, you know, police killings and hate crimes and, you know, California's on fire and, you know, just everything. And then Republican Democrats fighting. And I was just like, I was just like, come on, let's get it together. Come on, this guy's black, this guy's white. Let's just get over this and get together. You know, people are from different places. Let's embrace it. Let's love each other. And just thought I had to make some sort of artistic statement, use my art to just say, yo, let's do this. Let's get together, you know? So it's just my statement to the world, maybe young people. Hopefully, you know, people can get over prejudice and all this craziness, you know? So that just came out of that. It was inspired by that, just one breakdown I had, and I was just like, let's do it.
I mean, I think that what a lot of, you know, your sources of inspiration are getting at is kind of this look at younger people and thinking about kids or young people watching these films and sort of taking lessons or values from them. And, you know, of course, adults as well watching along with their families would be able to get those ideas too. And so something I was wondering is, what would you want viewers of any age to be taking away from your films?
Well, personally for me, since my alignment with my film is like finding your own path and finding perfection in that path, is like, don't stress about what you think you're supposed to do. Just like things will fall into place, and like, yeah, follow it to like whatever degree you want to, but like you don't have to choose to be like, okay, so like I'm Chinese, like doctor or engineer. You could go into art, or you could not even go to college if you wanted to. It's, yeah, choose your own path. Don't take everything like it's solid gold. More like it's dirt and you can put it in your pockets and you can run freely with and not care if it falls out just a little bit. That's what I would like people to take away from my film.
For Pakala kids, I really think it's just as simple as just enjoy the moment, enjoy your life where it is now, have fun, make friends, go do stupid stuff. Uh, it's really, yeah, just a celebration of life and spending time together, because throughout the film, the two characters, Lonnie and Dixie, they're spending like one last day together. They're not really like agreeing with what to do. But at the end of the day, you're just spend time with your friends and enjoy that.
Good message. Jennifer, what's your message?
I think the message for my film is, aside from "You are the best gift," is that your worth isn't defined by your achievements or your gifts or what you necessarily bring to the table. Because I feel like growing up, I had a lot of pressure, I guess, with that, like trying to come home with good grades and trying to like just prove to my parents like that I or like, I always feel like I'm not doing enough. But at the end of the day, it's like who you are. Like your family loves you, or your loved ones love you for who you are, not for like your gifts or what you physically bring to the table.
Good message. I think a lot of young people should hear that or know that. Sophia, what's your message?
Yeah.
Don't mess with the flower girls.
I mean, it's true, you shouldn't. But like story-wise, the message is really like forgiveness and like working through problems with your friends and just like having harmony. But a little bit further in, another message is specifically for the people living where I live here. Like, hey, you're seeing, we don't get a lot of films about us or a lot of shows about us where we live. So like you see these girls, these girls are like you guys growing up here. It's kind of like more of that message, like, hey, encouragement, because we can go out and be seen. We can make films about ourselves, and like we're not like stuck here is I guess what I'm trying to like encourage people that live here. Just a little bit of awareness for them.
Yeah. I think mine is just like kind of what I said earlier. It's just try to encourage people to love each other and celebrate our differences and embrace each other's cultures and kind of lifestyles and love each other.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you everyone for, being so open and succinct as well, kind of getting that takeaway out there. Kind of moving into the sort of production aspect of things, really wanted to get to know, what was kind of the biggest change from beginning brainstorming to like the final cut of each of your films?
Can I start with this one?
Of course, yeah.
My previous films have usually many times been very pre-planned, very regimented. So when people come in to work with me, I have layouts and I have everything, and it's just kind of already set. But this particular film was very collaborative in not only kind of the story, but the design. Like I'll have designs to give out usually. This one we just kind of sat down and said, this is what we need to have happen, but how are we going to do it? And so it was very collaborative amongst a small group of, I guess, pre-production artists, which was kind of cool. And then they shared with story, and they had business, acting business and stuff, and so that was fun.
I mean, you literally hear so many voices, very collaborative just for the viewer knowing that. Yeah.
I want to ask Jennifer, it's a 1 minute film you did by yourself in 3 weeks, and it looks that good?
Yeah, well, it had to be done if I wanted to pass. So so
crazy.
It was tough.
That's crazy.
So it definitely was really tough because the actual time limit for the film is I believe 15 seconds without the credits and the title card. So I could like add more to the story through the title card and credits. And so that was like our only limitation pretty much for this film, and that we had to get it done in 3 weeks. From the beginning, when I first started storyboarding, I had initially planned a very emotional scene where like when the rabbit is like almost home, all of his gifts like kind of fly away, and it's like a very dramatic and like painful and like heart-wrenching moment. Like I really wanted to play that out, but that entire section took up a whole minute. So I was like, I can't do this. So in the end, I was like really frustrated. I was lying in bed, kind of like voice calling my boyfriend. I was like, what do I do? Like, this is due soon. I have to like come up with something, like a solution to this. And I'm already so attached to this idea, and I already have like so many like thumbnails. Like, I don't want to like just give up on this whole story, because I still thought the story had potential. And that's when I remembered that I feel like 50% of storytelling or filmmaking is sound design. So I decided to let the sound tell most of the story near the end, where like everything kind of like falls apart. So in the end, it ended up being, you know, more lighthearted, more comedic, but I still got the message across that, oh, okay, you know, he dropped all of the gifts. So yeah, that's kind of like how it changed from beginning to end.
Smart.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, my film took 1 month to make, and in the beginning I wanted it to be more experimental, more loose. And when I was coming up with the idea on my own, it was originally supposed to take place in like a forest or something, if I'm remembering correctly. And then but she still finds like a fruit tree. I hadn't decided if it was lemons or not. And then I was like, well, I haven't seen my friends in a while, but maybe we can like make a short film together. So I pitched it to them, and they liked the idea. And then we boarded it together, and it slowly shifted to a cul-de-sac instead of a forest. And then we decided like the lemon tree was the way to go. And then I thought, oh, this film should be like 30 seconds or even smaller. I don't want to take too much time, maybe make this in like 2 weeks, like easy peasy, and then we're done. And then I would start school again. But then as we storyboarded, it became longer and longer, to the point where I had to call on more of my friends to take on like animation roles and background painting roles in order to finish it. And then I extended the due date to be a month long, so that then I had time, even though school had started, to composite the film. It was a learning curve. I don't know how I did it.
Sophia, you want to go? Oh, sorry.
Oh, Sophia can go. I don't have too much.
Oh, all right. So PUA Warriors is actually for my last semester of college, my capstone film I was making with a small team. We Me and my co-writer, we had so many drafts before the semester even started. And working through the boards, like we had ideas like, okay, maybe there's a mongoose as like the magical animal, giving them advice, giving them their magic. No, okay. Well, like, okay, like, so the tourists are there, they're in trouble. No, we're cutting out extra characters. We're making the scene smaller. No buildings are getting destroyed. Just trying to simplify. Oh my gosh. And then like like April, we had to all leave and go home because of the pandemic started. This was 2020, right?
Mm.
It was like, oh my gosh, how are we supposed to finish recording the voices and finish like animating as a team? Everything was so hectic, everything was so crazy, and constantly trying to simplify things as well. I'm so glad that my team was so good, because it made everything a lot easier, that everyone was so committed to finish. And yeah, that's the main takeaway I have. Everyone being committed helped propel the whole film forward. Yeah. And then, okay, one more thing. The transformation sequences, well, the longest time, I had no idea what we were gonna do at all. But then we had the idea of like bringing in the cultural dances. So like, I believe Aya had that like Asa dance with the little drum that they do in Okinawa. Leilani was doing the hula, and oh my goodness, I forgot what Jazz did, but the Filipino dance is really beautiful too. Yeah.
I loved their dances. I love their transformations. I actually really love Magical Girl, so I thought that was amazing.
Thank you.
I want to add on to that because I helped with writing the script for PUA Warriors, and I think one of my favorite changes was like I think it even made it into some storyboards, but I think Leilani had her transformation like early on, like with the other two girls. And so I think like changing it to happen at the end and like being a symbol of her, uh, I guess, coming to terms with like the rest of her friends, and then having like this huge triumphant moment of her transforming. Like I think that was like that worked so well. Really happy with how with that change because yeah, it was just way more impactful than just all three of them transforming at the beginning. For Pakala Kids, I don't think much changed. I think I took out a couple of short scenes that didn't really matter. Um, but I think the biggest change, and I kind of had the opposite like the opposite of Sienna, where after instead of like mine's getting longer and longer, mine actually got shorter and easier to produce. Because like when I did the voice recordings, I kind of there's not a whole lot of lines, but I did kind of let the voice actors improv a bit, and we had rehearsals where they got to know each other a little more, and so their voice performance came out more natural. And so like the two girls had like such this fast, quick like rapport going back and forth that like brought so much energy to the characters that I hadn't like considered in the storyboards. And not only did that make them more fun, it also cut down the amount of animation I had to do, because in my head like lines took longer. I was timing things out longer. But so that was a really relieving change for me.
I saw that Sophia was on your animation team too, huh?
Yeah, Sophia did a couple shots, and
You
I
had
worked
only,
on-
but you only had 3 animators on the whole film, is that right?
yeah.
That's
So
crazy.
that project was like really personal to me, that I wanted to do like most of it, because I had already done like literally months before, I did like a film with like 20 plus crew members, and that was really stressful. And so this one I just like I was already working on PUA Wars, like I want to make this film that means a lot to me. And so I'll ask for help here and there. Sound designers especially helped a lot, but on like the art side, no, I had a background artist, thank God. But like on the animation side, like I really wanted to challenge myself and do like this give more naturalistic character acting, which is something I hadn't quite done before. So this whole film was kind of a self-imposed challenge for me.
Cool.
And sort of, looking ahead, thinking about all of you, what kinds of projects are you currently working on, or maybe planning to work on in the future?
Well, I am currently working on a children's book.
Oh, awesome!
Trying to get that published through a publisher. We'll see if that happens. They say that it could take months to years to hear back from them. So we'll just see how that goes. But it's a different process, a different pipeline, but still a lot of fundamentals that I know and love to apply. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, best of luck with it. I think
thank
yeah,
you.
your style is very like it was very cute. I feel like very child friendly. Yeah. I guess right now I'm currently working on a group film with 8 other classmates. And it's another one of those films where, we got to get it done no matter what. But this one's definitely proving to be quite a bigger challenge, just because like to this point, we've never really storyboarded a whole film to this extent. It's around like 5 minutes. It's probably going to be longer. And then trying to like manage every person because I don't think I've managed this many people before. So yeah, trying to manage like how layout is going to happen at the same time as animation, and how background paint is going to happen on top of that as well. And then effects is going to happen on top of that. And then we all have to work towards like making a deadline, locking in the rough animation timing before reading week so that we can start the sounds like and give it off to the composer. And then from there, it's on like compositing hell. So that's definitely proving to be quite an interesting experience. Gavin, like huge respects to you for like managing a team of 20. I can like managing a team of like 9. I'm like, oh my God, I can't. And I think we're at the same time, we also have to start thinking about our thesis films. So I'm currently exploring like film ideas for that, and trying to, again, make something very scenic, very pretty colors and pretty lighting for that.
Cool. I just finished up, we've been working on a graphic novel that teaches middle school students about climate science. And it's a project called the Green Ninja Show. It's called Gear Up Green Ninjas. And so it teaches these kids about protecting the planet and stuff. So we just finished that, and then always trying to think of the next film to make. So trying to juggle some ideas. How about you guys?
So I've been working on a couple like small personal stories for me, but no plans for any like films at the moment.
Yeah, for me, I'm like, I don't know when I'm gonna do my next short film, not for a while. I had a good like span of 3-4 years making how many short films. I'm done tapping out for now, but
Did you guys go to the same school?
yeah,
Cool.
University of Hawaii. But I'm actually been working on a Pakala Kids webcomic. So I upload that on Webtoons, and so it's the same characters set before the film, before they're split apart.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. So I'm just having fun with that as kind of a small personal project. And then I'm also working in TV animation as storyboard artist. So that's the path I'm taking right now. Can't say anything about that because NDA, but I am working on I'm pretty sure it'll come out this year, but I do have work done on the Hell of a Boss web series. You might be able to see this year. I think.
Well, thank you so much, everyone, for sharing. And it's so cool to hear across mediums, all of your projects in and outside of film. And so, yeah, I'll just close out our time together by just thanking all of you. We really appreciate your time. And thank you, the audience, for joining for the 10th Seattle Asian American Film Festival. We so appreciate your support for this festival, filmmakers, and community. If you have not done so already, please take a moment to fill out our festival participant survey. There is a link in your confirmation email. Data from surveys help us get grants and sponsorships that make this festival possible, and it's another way that you can support SAAFF. Also, check out our other programs at seattleaaff.org. Tickets are still available. And on behalf of the Seattle Asian American Film Festival, thank you so much. Thank you so much to our filmmakers. Yay!
Nice to meet all you guys. Great work.
Nice to meet all of you. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Thanks so much for taking the time.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Cool.
thank you for having us.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you. All right, guys. Everyone have a nice day.
Have a great day.
Yeah.
Bye.
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 Okay, see you guys.